So when you notice any strange person, the way he walks, the way he looks at places, and most of the time he's very suspicious. And when you notice any of them, immediately do not attempt to tackle them. Immediately step aside and alert the Amba defense system. They will immediately know what to do with that particular person. So this is the immediate. We have alert La Republique that from now henceforth, the people of Southern Cameroon is now a separate nation. And they will not succumb to La Republique. So we've asked all La Republique citizens to immediately vacate the Southern Cameroon territory. And we have asked this, we have broadcast this for quite some time, that the governors, the DOs, and all those, and those that are working with La Republique, we have asked you, we have given you ample enough time to leave Southern Cameroon and let the people be capable to manage their affairs. But as they continue to persist, and there are certain individuals you call like the Tanganji, that they are forming and finance some individuals within the Southern Cameroon territory, I urge you that be careful, because we know who you are, we know where you are, and we will be able to get hold of you, and we will set you an example. So if you understand, if you know yourself that you are a Southern Cameroon and that you are working with La Republique under the supervision of Atanganji, then you are on the wrong side of the game. We have simply advised that anyone or any individual that is working under La Republique as an agent, you are on the wrong side of the game. We have asked one more time. And there are certain those that are working under, that are causing massive atrocity. They are forcing citizens and taking bribery with the name that they think that they consider them to be Southern Cameroon Ambazonia Defense Force. Southern Cameroon Ambazonia Defense does not take bribe. They do not harm any citizens. Instead, their interest is to protect citizens. So those who are at Tanganji, that Tanganji is using to finance, to carry on atrocity. So when you notice those individuals, immediately brought them to justice. Fellow brothers and sisters, we are at war, and the war is continuing. The war is continuing. So while we are asking the United States, we are asking the U.S. White House, we are asking the U.S. Congress, we are asking the U.S. Senate, we are asking the U.S. State Department, we are asking the U.S. Defense Department, that our people, they are being summarily executed. That was the word described by the U.S. ambassador in the neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroun. The U.S. ambassador to the neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroun, put it in this way, that the La Republique military are using summary execution of the citizens of Southern Cameroon. How do we get here? We got here because our lawyers, our magistrates, they demonstrate. Nations have the right to demonstrate when there is something wrong. Even here in the United States, people have the right to demonstrate. And when demonstration does occur, the military protect the citizens for their. They said police go ahead. Police vehicles are being allowed to even assist them to make sure that they are safe. They protect them and that they have the right to peaceful demonstration. For any system or for any changes that should be occurred. And that is welcome. But unfortunately, in La Republique du Cameroun, when citizens demonstrate or carry on a peaceful demonstration, instead military are sent to shut unarmed civilians that are simply demonstrate for a change. They're simply shooting unarmed civilians that are simply demonstrating for a change. You imagine that at this moment, almost 800,000 civilians are in Nigeria. 800 civilians are in Nigeria. Civilians are in Nigeria. What a disturbing. The entire population are in the forest. And they have been living in the forest for almost a year now. And yet, there's nothing to be done. So that is why we are asking the United States Congress, we are asking the United States Senate, we are asking the State Department that the people of Southern Cameroon want to be able to be left alone. They want to be left alone so that they can decide their future destiny without any coercion being forced to do so. They don't need to be living with La Republique. La Republique initially in 1960 wasn't living with Southern Cameroon. They were a sovereign nation on their own. And when United Nations recognized La Republique, they didn't recognize them with the people of Southern Cameroon. They were simply recognized them in 1960 as a distinctive nation. And when the people of Southern Cameroon were recognized in 1961, they were not recognized with La Republique du Cameroun. So there is no clear reason that they must be able to live together. The people of Southern Cameroon is capable to live by themselves and decide their future destiny, education, political, because La Republique and the people of Southern Cameroon doesn't share a common value. La Republique believes in a civil law system, whereas in the Southern Cameroon they believe in, La Republique believes in a civil law system, whereas the people of Southern Cameroon believe in a common law system. The people of La Republique believe in there is no accountability. There is no accountability. One president controls all aspects of the government. The military, in fact, the entire system, that is, the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature, is controlled by one single individual. Whereas in Southern Cameroon, no, those arms of government are separated, and that allowed for equal check and balancing. Whereas in La Republique, no, one single individual controlled the entire government, and that is Paul Biya, and with the complicity of the French government. With the complicity of the French government, France decides who has to be the president, who has to be appointed minister, who has to be. France is the sole deciding power that decides who has to be appointed minister, who has to be a governor, who has to be a delegate, who has to be this. France controls every aspect of the French colony, whereas they are voiceless. France controls every aspect of their well-being. They decide when they're supposed to go to the bathroom. They decide when they're supposed to eat. France decides when they're supposed to. France controls every aspect of the Francophone, whereas the people of Southern Cameroon believe in liberty, they believe in equality, they believe that the people have the right to question the government. And that is an obligation of the people, and that government has a responsibility to be able to respond to the demand of the citizens. Whereas in La Republique, it's one single individual that controls all the three arms of government. And that is why we haven't seen this. And when we began to question, they're using their military to suppress the citizens of Southern Cameroon that are asking for accountability. And that is why I'm bringing this attention to the United States citizens, to the U.S. Congress. Our people want to be left alone. We want to be able to govern ourselves. We want to be able to decide our destiny. We have no obligation to live together with La Republique. We have none. And we should be recognized as a sovereign nation. There are sovereign nations that they don't have the population our people does have. And why must we have to live together with La Republique? We don't have to live with La Republique. We can live by ourselves. Let them decide their own destiny. Let them decide their own destiny. Let them decide their own destiny. It is imperative, it is imperative that the people of Southern Cameroon be recognized as a sovereign nation. In fact, in 1960, they have been managing their affair. First Prime Minister, second Prime Minister, third Prime Minister were elected unanimously by the populations, and one was willing to hand over power without any fight. Imagine with La Republique, they have not in any single, since they become sovereign nations, there has no zero in a single occasion have a democratic elected president, even including their own as congressman, is fraudulent. Everything is fraud. They have one political party, the so-called the CPDM, and that is made up of fraud. And that fraud is to only the CPDM are the one winning any particular election. There is absolutely zero tolerance. And the people of Southern Cameroon cannot live with this capacity, with this type of intolerance, with this type of fraudulence that is being carried on by La Republique du Cameroun. That is why we urge in the world that the people of Southern Cameroon wants to be left alone. They want to be left alone. They don't want to live together with La Republique. They want to be left alone. Let them decide their future destiny. And let La Republique continue with their own destiny. That is the most important thing that the world can do. I understand that even though we are asking this and be fighting, the British Crown, because the cause of this and this problem that the people of Southern Cameroon embrace is originally created by the British Crown. Why was the British Crown believe that the people of Southern Cameroon can live by themselves? Because during the voting, United States, that's one thing I appreciate United States at all times. United States stood by that they would have seen the people of Southern Cameroon be left alone. But unfortunately, the British